For the day?
Yeah.
Nice. I've done that trip before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good trip.
Yeah, I've done that trip before.
It's a lot better coming this way, I'll come to learn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, Detroit's cool, it's up and coming, but New York is like, this is my first time, so.
It's your first time in New York?
Yeah.
Wow. And you're here for one day?
One day.
That's okay. So, did you go and see anything else today?
So far, I've been to One World Trade.
Okay, cool.
And then.
You did that?
Did the bowl, the Wall Street Bowl.
Okay.
It,
Should I top of the rock or something with a view? No. Go to Rockefeller Center after this. You do the top of the rock, and so you can go. It's like just a really, really cool view of like all of the city. Whereas the Freedom Tower downtown is like downtown looking up. Yeah. Top of the rock is like Central Park, Midtown, downtown, everything. It's nice.
Okay. I'll do that because.
Or you go to the top of the Empire State Building, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I asked the guy, I was like, I can't even see Central Park from here.
Yeah.
That's half of.
Yeah. But it's cool, man. Can't see New York in a day, but there's so much to it. Every street is completely different. Every neighborhood is completely different. The people are different. I move so fast. People are all over the place.
Yeah.
And so much happens in the city every day.
The amount of people is crazy.
A lot of people.
And then even coming from where One World Trade is at to up here, this is Soho then,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can feel the vibe is different, a lot more shops. Like.
Oh yeah, completely. Completely. New York is pretty landmarked, so like you can't change a lot, right? Like you wouldn't be able to tear this building down.
Right.
You know? Like it's because they want to keep New York. Otherwise all of New York would be one big glass box.
Right.
Right. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. But thanks for buying the books.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Honestly, so I was working with your events team, your agents, I guess, to try and bring you to Detroit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and really it was for selfish reasons, right? Like I just wanted to get in front of you.
And you were like, oh, buy his books, it's cheaper.
Way cheaper.
Yeah.
Sure. So it worked out.
Good.
Yeah, so appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So I have a list of questions.
Shoot.
I will go for longer than an hour though, like so just cut me off.
Don't worry, I gotta leave here at 3:30 to go back uptown, so.
So how, do you stick to your schedule perfectly?
Hold on one second.
Sure.
I do. Just my wife, hold on.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. What's confirmed? Awesome. They called you? Okay. 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 With the same person or a different person? Okay. Crazy. Yeah. Right. Huh. What? Okay. Can you go to the store and go talk to them? Right. I'm just in a meeting right now. I wanted to call you so we can talk about this for a bit. Oh, great. Sorry.
No worries.
Yes. So do I stick to my schedule? Yes.
What's that look like on a daily basis for you?
Schedule. What does it look like?
I guess from a real estate perspective, right, from a business operations, because I know you have little side tangents for the show and the new show.
Yeah.
And
So every day is different, right? So every day is completely different. It's hard for me to differentiate though, because my life is so like all encompassing, right? But I'm basically booked in the half hour now, right? Which is kind of always the way I wanted it. Like I really like being busy. I gotta lose my mind if I have nothing to do.
Sure.
Right? And like that I just feel like have to create work, which is why like the beginning of the business for me was so hard, because it was like, what do I do now? Like it's 1 o'clock, I have no appointments. Do I postmark ads? Do I cold call? Like what do I do?
Yeah.
Right? Which is like, I hated that feeling. So I just wanted to work as hard as I could to get to a point where, if I look at my calendar, it's just, I'm booked all the time.
Yeah.
There's obviously like some media stuff in there, like here and there, but it's it can be jam-packed or it can be relatively pretty easy, but I follow it to a T. I go where my calendar tells me to go.
Right.
Jordan manages my calendar for like my life, and then a girl named Renee, who's offsite, who I pay a couple $100 a week, she manages all appointments for listings and buyers. So that way he doesn't lose his mind. So any listings that we have, anyone says, hey, can I see this tomorrow at 11? Renee takes care of that, and she handles all of those showings between myself, my team. She liaises between the owners, the buyers, all that stuff, and just manages the calendar. Right? And then I have somebody else named Jasper, who I pay a couple $100 a week, and between the hours of like midnight and 2 a.m. every day, he cleans my inbox for me and sorts all emails into specific folders. So I've got like a Renee, I've got a Jasper, Jordan, Yolanda, Shannon, Kristen, and Jonathan, who basically like control my life.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's the way I wanted it, right? Like the book, honestly, the original title of the book was called Balls Up, because it's something I've always said about like keeping as many balls in the air as possible, right? And then obviously times are weird, so we had to change it. But it was like I've always built my business based around like structured chaos.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you can figure out how to control chaos that way, like a kid, as kids, do you have kids?
Yeah.
How many?
3.
Wow. How old are you?
29.
Damn. Okay. How old's your oldest?
8.
Damn. Early out there in Michigan,
Yeah.
huh?
Mm-hmm. I'm an unusual one.
Yeah. That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
But you try to teach your kids to like put a toy away before you take another toy out, otherwise you create a mess. Mm-hmm. And you do that because the kids don't pay attention to the toys they don't want to play with anymore. They keep them wherever, and it's just a disaster, and then you have to clean up.
Right.
But if you take away you, which is what happens when you become a broker, like there's no boss to clean up your mess. And if you can figure out how to keep all your toys out in front of you at all times, and then just keep them all in play at all times so you can see them, but never forget about the ones that you put away. Right. And so that's my business theory anyway. That instead of putting clients away, you keep them all out at all times, and then just manage how to control that. And a lot of it comes down to just structuring the day and structuring your calendar.
Right.
So when I first started, I did this thing called Finder, Keeper, Doer. So I broke my calendar down into, because I was like losing my mind, that I didn't know what to do, and there's no rule book, and I had no boss telling me to from at 9 o'clock this is what you do, at 12 o'clock this is what you do. And I know a lot of people get into real estate to make their own hours and all that, but at the end of the day, the most successful real estate agents and the most successful salespeople are creatures of habit. Right? Like we like discipline, we like habit, and we can bitch about it, but that's when you know it's working. You can bitch about it and then take a Saturday off and just like play with the kids or just hang out, but that's because you know that you did as much work as you possibly could Monday through Friday, right? So like from the hours of like 8 to 10 a.m. on a day where I used to have nothing to do, 8 to 10 a.m. would be my Finder hours. That would be when I would just be a CEO, and I would just prospect, I would brainstorm, I would think about my business on like a macro level, and I would just try to sit there and just like, how am I going to grow my business now? Who am I going to call now? What am I going to do later?
Yeah.
Okay. 12 to 1, I would do like my keeper hour, which is my CFO time. So when I would think about money, like how much money do I have right now? What are my bills? Let me just remind myself and just be really, really, really focused on the dollars. How much can I spend on advertising? If it was $10 that day, that would be $10 divided by 34 cents, and that's how many postcards I would send that day, or how many letters I would send that day, right? And then the rest of my day, honestly, was my doer time. So it was like my foot soldier, COO, like I'm going to get shit done. So that's when I would do the mailers. That's when I would do all the walking the streets and meeting people that I thought about during my Finder time in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I structured my day until I would get more appointments and more clients, and then more appointments and more clients, and I could hire somebody, and they started to take care of some of the doer time, and then I hired someone else, they take care of some of the keeper time, and slowly that Finder time window started to really expand, and it's now kind of what I do most of the time, right? And that's kind of where you want to be, just like the CEO of your own brand and your own business.
Yeah. So I'm glad you segued into that, because that's the bulk of my questions is about, hiring people, attracting talent, retaining talent, like how
Yeah.
you're managing that aspect of it.
Sure. So, and it's a good question, right? At least so the way I did it anyway, because when I started, it was like, you know what? I'm not going to be the biggest broker in the world by myself. Like, I need help.
Right.
And how do I get a broker who knows what they're doing to come work for me or work with me? Like, they're not going to want to do it, right? So, I've picked the most expensive deal I'd ever done in my life, which was like $3,000 a month for a rental in Koreatown. And I said to myself, you know what? I can either be a $3,000 a month broker or I can be a $10 million broker. Right? Success begets success. People are only going to come to me with business and referral business based on what they know me as. So if I only do $2,500 a month rentals, those people have $2,500 a month rents and $2,500 a month problems and $2,500 a month referrals. But if I say I only do $3,000 a month and above, then I'm only going to get those friends and those referrals. And I'm only going to focus on that business. Everything that comes in below, I'm going to give to this new kid who I just found at real estate school named Bill. Bill doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's never been anywhere. He's so excited to even like have someone to ask questions to. And I'm going to train him. And it's going to be a pain in the ass, but I'm going to train him. And he's going to learn everything from me, but he's going to take all my business under $3,000. And so I'm only going to do stuff over $3,000. Eventually, one of those clients who's looking at a $3,000 a month rental has a friend or knows somebody or even their own budget can go to like $4,250. Right? I get that deal done. Now I only do deals at $4,250 and above. Right? I'll take in all business. I don't tell people I don't take in all business, but that's for Bill. I manage it. I watch it. I'm on the emails. I set it up. I'm going to close it if I have to. But my personal focus all day long is $4,250 and above, and then that's everything else is Bill. What happens then is that Bill starts to get too busy. Then I need Tatiana. From school, brand new, young, excited, and then it just grew from there.
Yeah.
That's how I built my team, and it's worked relatively well, right? I used to do everything personally in Brooklyn, and then I bought a company and had them manage my office there, absorb their agents, and now they manage everything, and I slowly add and add and add and add and add.
Right.
And for admins, you just have to pay them, right? The mistake that I don't know if these are your questions, but the mistake that I always made with an assistant, which is a very, very important role, right, is that I would just find a 9-to-5 assistant and pay them, and then like, I don't want to be a 9-to-5 assistant for a real estate agent.
Right.
It's the worst job ever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that. So, and I kept losing assistants because like it sucks, and they would be like on Facebook half the time, and they would be like searching for a new job half the time, or like if it was a girl, they'd be thinking about like their boyfriends or like the guy that didn't call them back half the time. It's like always something. So I changed it and said, you know what, I'm going to do an apprentice program. So all my assistants will be 2 years. That's it. So this way, there's a timeline that at least like makes me comfortable, and I can bank on it.
Right.
So it's not like whatever. 2 years. This is the salary, and I will work on with you a handful of deals slowly, so that you can learn from me. I'll give you a small percentage. Now you're incentivized to help me with those deals. It's now better for me because I use Jordan really on like personal buyers only, and that don't want to work with anybody else, but they know he's my assistant, so they feel like they're still working with me anyway. Right? Versus me bringing on Brian or Vanessa or Jen or somebody like that,
right,
where they feel like sometimes if you pass them off.
Right.
So then Jordan gets to learn. He has to make extra money. It's like bonus money, 1099 money. And then he's also salaried, and he's super incentivized to learn. And then after those 2 years are up, it's like grad school. He's so ready to go. Right. Yolanda has been with me since she was my first intern ever, 2009. And I don't pay her a salary. She takes a percentage, and she is rich. That's kind of how I built the team and hire people, and then culture. And it's about creating culture and creating fun and creating a place that people kind of like want to work and being different. Like you have the benefit of being young, which is a benefit that I've had too for a while, even though my hair makes me look old. Right? Is that like there's a lot of real estate agents who are really old. So until I'm really old, and then I'll be senior, awesome, right? I'm going to use the fact that I'm young and crazy and full of energy and can run all over the place and attract people who kind of want to be part of that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned getting passed off for clients, for instance, right? So what are you guys doing systems-wise or expectation-wise to kind of manage that with clients?
So it's hard, and every client is different, right? So some clients honestly don't care. Some clients really, really do care. There are certain clients who who tell me, if you pass me off, I'll kill you. Like, I only want you to do the showings, and then I have to make a decision. Right? I typically only do that though for listings that are very expensive or buyers that are super important.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, at the initial listing pitch or the initial buyer's appointment, I bring one of the team members with me, and I explain to them, we're in this together, just me and them. And it actually works because they all know that I have a team that's very large, and so they're all nervous that I'm going to pass them off to like 50 people. But when I say, no, just me and Donna, they're like, oh, okay, cool. So then it's like better because their idea was something much worse. Right. And Donna sitting there with me is intelligent, can speak and use sentences and emails. And I really basically say, listen, Donna's going to work on it with me. She's going to help me with showings, help me with a lot with email, because I'm going to be selling your apartment all day long, your house all day long. That's what you want me to do.
Right.
And we're in this together. And we also never want to miss a showing. There's a lot of brokers that are too busy. There are a lot of brokers that are, they're going to come to you and say they do everything personally, which you're really going to like, until they don't return your call till tomorrow.
Right.
You call me, I pick up because it's me and Don.
Yeah.
And kind of set it up, and it's the same price. Like, I don't charge more commission.
Right.
Sure.
So in New York, do you guys get 3%, or what is that?
So the standard commission is 6%, and you break it in two, right? So it's 3 for 3 and every listing is different. Some listings were 6, some listings were 5. Sometimes just to get the deal done, we're contributing commissions, obviously. And
sure. Okay. So, from an expectations perspective,
do you have a team or are you by yourself?
I have a little team right now.
How many people?
Great question. 3 agents and then 1 admin.
Yeah.
So starting to kind of figure out that whole, like, there's certain things that I should be handing off at this point. I haven't really been handing them off.
Yeah, you should. You have to. You have to leverage, otherwise you'll die.
Well, so last week I kind of made the decision that, like, I'm to the point where if I have to lose clients over it, like, I'm gonna over the handoff, but I want to do it delicately.
Yeah. You're not gonna lose clients though, right? You only lose clients if you. Not true.
I don't mean a lot. I just mean like the handful of people that are like, I have to work with you.
Sure. So those people, if you don't want to lose the business, those people are you and your assistant, right? Every broker has an assistant who does business anyway. So like that isn't a difference, right? It's you and your assistant. If you don't want to lose them. And then someone to help you with showings, right? Here and there. But typically just you and your assistant. Everybody else, like I'm CC'd on emails. My team knows to talk with we, us. They never say I, right? So every client that they talk to, it's like, listen, I just spoke to Ryan. Ryan and I. It's we. That way the client feels happy, right? They're always going to be bad if they're like, yo, it's okay, I was passed off to a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
So as long as they speak that way and they CC you and you're included and you touch base, like it's free to communicate. So no matter what, for the most part, I touch base with all the clients once a week in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of them. We have 300 listings.
Right.
So it takes a long time, but it's a text to a handful of them, a quick email to a bunch, a quick phone call. Sometimes we do weekly phone calls, but so much happens now just between text and email.
Right.
It's like, and it's free. Like you're having fun anyway.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so talk to me about scaling. I guess first question being, as you start to add team members, that margin, overall your income will go up, right? But that margin's going to go down. So like, what do you shoot for as far as like a profit margin, like an expense wise? Do you track that kind of stuff?
I'm sure I do. I have people who do. I don't pay attention to it. I know what income is, and I know how much I want to make. I know how much I want to sell per year, and I know how much I want to sell per month. And then all the team has income goals for the year, right? So like, all of that is set up, but I don't look at it anymore as like profit margin or me personally or this, that, the other. Like I look at it as like the team. I want to make sure that we sell as much as possible. And I just know that if I do the work, I will make money. Some deals I'll make less, some deals I'll make more. Sometimes I'll get a personal deal that'll be great and awesome, and Jordan will take his tiny percentage and I'll pay for everything else. Sweet. A lot of times, but the team is there no matter what. You're going to make money if you learn how to use people in the best way possible. And you learn how to leverage people. Yeah. But you also want to be careful too that you, like, kind of the model I gave you for how I built my team was 100% based on me bringing in business and then having people to work on it.
Right.
So a lot of people make mistakes where they say, oh, I can make so much more money if I have all these people underneath me. But if you don't have the business for them,
Right.
and they're brand new, what the shit are they going to do? Then you're spending all your time training kids who have no business. Now you're not making as much money because your focus is on training this team that excites you because you think people are going to make you money, and then you end up getting really pissed off, and then you either fire those people, or once those people drain you of information, they quit and go on their own or go somewhere else.
Right.
Right? So you always want to be the most powerful person in the room. You know, and you never want to be in a position where you're handing off too much stuff, where it would be a problem for you if somebody left. Right?
Right.
Like every single, I mean it would suck, but there's not a single person on my team, admin or team members, where if they left, it would change my life. Right? There's certain members where it would make things difficult, for sure. There's certain members where if they left, I would lose clients because I've passed on so much power to them that they have great relationships now. But it is what it is,
Right.
you know. But like my life wouldn't change, only my income would change, you know. Like I mean, I'd have to replace a few people, but like you always want to make sure that like, you are the most powerful person on the team, right?
Sure.
Like you're the quarterback. Everybody else is awesome, but also immediately replaceable.
Right.
But they should also be rock stars, just like a football team.
Yeah. At least the Patriots.
At least the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Lions will be good one day. Now you have Matt Patricia.
Maybe.
Come on.
The players are not super thrilled with Patricia so
Why?
far because he's like making them run if
Yeah.
they mess up. And, you know,
See,
like,
that's
we're
Belichick
professional.
though. That's what they do.
Yeah.
There's a whole article, like fucking Brady was freaking out the other day. So he threw a bad pass, and Belichick made the whole offensive line do sprints. And it was like their first day back to training camp, and like, but he just does not care, man. He just does not care. Which is, listen, and it's a lot of times you do have to go back to basics.
Right.
You know, like the minute you think you're too good for practice, same this is for salespeople. The minute you think you're too good for practice, like is like the minute you start seriously dying off, because everything is changing around you. And just think about how hard you worked and how excited you are and how much you listened to everybody when you first started. Like you can't ever have that die off.
Right.
You know? Which is like, for me, the best thing $1 Million Listing ever did was it created public accountability for my business. It was a metaphorical shotgun to the head. Like, and it hasn't worked for everybody, right? But for me, it's like, holy shit, I have to do better every year because like people expect it. Like I can't let people down,
Sure.
and I can't do the same shit on TV this year that I did last year. It's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be better. My numbers have to be bigger and better every year. Otherwise, I'm gonna fail publicly, and I don't want to be shamed, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the show did for me. It didn't like the phone didn't start ringing for like 5 years.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, it took forever.
Yeah. But that accountability piece is huge, right?
It is
You need
huge.
to find it in some way.
Yeah. So and now my accountability, it's less through like the show, but now my accountability really is the team. Like there's the new episode of $1 Million Listings tonight, right? We did this Q&A event where Steve Gold thought he was funny, and I don't know why, but he has a team of like 3 people or something, and he decided to make fun of me for having a team that's big, right? Saying that like, and I had a few people last year that laughed, okay? And so he made fun of me for it. And so I'm like, it didn't affect me whatsoever. I wasn't like personally offended. But if you watch the episode, like I'm upset in the moment because of how my team is gonna feel when they watch it. Right? Like I have such accountability to these people because they work so hard for me.
Right.
And I want them all to succeed and be happy and like, feel like they work at the best place ever. I want them to feel like they work at some place where dicks make fun of them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know how many team members you're at now?
64.
You know exactly?
Yeah.
That's about that.
64 less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Less 5. So 59.
Okay. So you obviously can't have meetings with all 59 of them on a regular basis, right? So like what's your, from that perspective, you know, not necessarily who's managing what, but
Sure.
You know, how frequently are you talking with the key players who are then, I'm assuming, relaying messages or what have you? And is it structured or is it kind of on an as needed?
So I talk to the key team members, we're like 30 of them, in some way, shape, or form every day. Like rather an email together, or we're texting, or we're calling about a deal. in the back of my car, because I sit in the back of the car all day.
Right.
I have a sheet with all their faces on it, just so that not because I forget who they are, like I know who everyone is, I could rattle off all their names, and I chose all of them, but so that it forces me to touch base with them. Because I never want to be that team leader who's just like unaccountable, you know?
Right.
We used to do a weekly meeting for the entire team every Monday, and it was just a drain on people. So I switched it up, made it smaller, and now we do a team meeting every Monday, broken down into 4 groups, one Monday. So everybody meets with me one Monday per month.
Gotcha.
And so we just started that this year. My sister made me do that. She was like, you can't be doing what you're doing. And so I broke them out into like groups of 10, give or take, you know? And so we meet every Monday. That way they don't have to meet every week. It's not a team meeting every week.
Right.
They come in once a month, no matter what, and we sit for an hour. And I give them questions ahead of time and things to think about, questions to ask the group. And it's like way more productive than the weekly meetings where we had where we're like, what's going on? What you working on?
Right.
How's the market? Like all that shit was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
So I structured it that way. And then when I'm not here, Yolanda and Jordan manage the rest of the office for questions and deal stuff and all that. But they call me all the time.
Right. Nice. So most of these people here, because obviously your brand's huge now, did you attract most of them?
Did I what?
Did you attract most of them, or did you hunt, like, are you hunting for people? Or like, is most of it, I guess, organic, or do you guys like run ads saying, hey, we have this money?
If I was a brokerage, then maybe. But I'm not my own brokerage. Right? I'm a team. Like we work for Messrs.
Right.
We have a split. Everyone works under the split. Our expenses are covered by the company, which is why we stay here. The expenses in Manhattan are really, really high. Right?
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, I mean, everything is so expensive here. So, what was the question? Remember? I started thinking about something else and then my mind.
More like, are you attracting people?
Oh, yeah. Nope. For the most part, most of the team members I've met on the other side of a deal.
Okay.
Right? Or a few people I've reached out to, right? Or they reach out to me a lot of times.
Yeah.
They reach out to me, and it's just like good timing. And I meet with them, and then I make it a really long, slow, painful process.
Okay. Gotcha. What are you looking for in that long, slow, painful process? Typically, I mean, I guess, like, you don't have to go into super detail. Certain characteristic traits, or like.
I look for 4 things, and they all start with the letter E. Well, it's 3 things with like a little E. So I look for endurance more than anything. Right? I want to make sure that's why it's a long process, and I let them follow up with me for as long as they can. Because if they can follow up with me, then they can follow up with the client. And at the end of the day, the best deals we're ever going to do take a significant amount of persistence and follow up. Right? Like anybody can get a deal in a day. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. But the consistent brokers who are the most successful in the business have the most endurance. So I let them follow up with me. I send them like homework to do, see what they do, right? And also like that's an endurance of work. That's also an endurance of like attitude. Like, are they going to be pissed off that this is a process, or are they going to be super excited about it the whole time? And I look for energy. Right? Like if they are limp in front of me, then they're going to be limp in front of a client. They're going to be lame in front of a client,
Yeah.
You know. And so energy is really important. Do they wake up with a good attitude? Do they have a smile on their face when they're talking? Like, do they talk bad about people? Like, there's people I don't like. I never talk bad about anyone.
Right.
Like, I used to, but not now. And so it's just not worth it anymore. So, like, are they energetic about what they do? Are they energetic about their hobbies, families? Like, are they pumped up and excited to go? See, we're in an office full of people, they're fucking that excited.
Right.
Like, they get to be salespeople. They're not locked into a desk all day long. They can do everything. They want all day long to make money, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't need somebody who's like, right? That's lame. And they have to be empathetic. And the way you test for that is you ask them to tell you a story about the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Right? And 1, you're going to test their honesty. 2, because you'll be able to tell if they're lying to you, which is fucked up if you're going to work together.
Right.
2, you'll be able to test how they tell that story. Right? Because if they tell that story about my mom died, that was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I'm sorry to hear that, but you are not going to be empathetic with my clients and like my team And that's how you tell that story. If you talk to me about your mom, why it was so terrible, which is the question that I asked, and what you went through and how you felt and how you got out of that feeling and how you've come up because of it and what you think about in a good way about your mom now and just take me down that path. That's someone who can talk to a client who's super emotional about their sale or super upset about a price, right? Or really, really upset about something that happened at a walkthrough. Like that person is going to be good with people, not someone who's like, my dog died when I was 10, not for me. And then the little E is education, right? Like I do want to make sure that people are educated and can talk and can write an email. That's important. Market education definitely helps. So we don't have much time for training here.
Sure.
But at the same time, the best agents that I have here who make the most money came to me with no education on the real estate market. They make more money than they would ever have made in whatever field they were doing before.
Yeah.
Right? But they're smart, and they have the other 3 E's.
Right on. Okay, so then a shift.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Like, so that's what I'm going through right now. Basically, is trying to scale, right? So that's why all those questions. I appreciate that.
Also, you have 1 assistant, 3 team members.
Yeah.
The other thing I do when I'm interviewing new people, is remember, it's your decision at the end of the day. But like, especially in a smaller team, you guys are a family. There's 3. Like you guys are together all the time. You talk to each other all the time. And talk to them more than you talk to your family. Right?
Sure.
So I make them a part of the process. And then actually, at the end of the day, it's super helpful for me. Sometimes I don't fucking know. I'm like, dude, this person was awesome. And then I have Jordan. Yeah. Then the second people they meet with is Jordan and Yolanda. Jordan and Yolanda have to give a thumbs up. And if they give a thumbs up, then they meet with someone from the team. Right? Someone from the team who has been with me for a while, who knows what they want. Because I also want to make sure that the person on the team who's here more than I am, because I'm running all over the place,
Right.
that they want that person in their office, in their space, like drinking from their fountain, using their bathroom. Like, I want to make sure that they're going to get along. And there's been a lot of people that made it through me, made it through Jordan and Yolanda, didn't make it through the team. And not just from like jealousy purposes, right? Like I can tell the difference, but from like this person is not, it's not a hustler. This person is not this person not that. They're great in interviews, but they will suck as an agent. Or they didn't tell you. I think they're more comfortable with me. But did you know this? I'm like, oh fuck, no, I didn't. Damn it, screw it.
Yeah.
Right. So do that.
Okay. Right on. Yeah, I love that. All right, so from mindset-wise, big factor in it, right? So, I mean, obviously you're top 5 in the world or the nation. I don't know how they rank that.
So
but
1 in the state of New York as of last Friday. Again, I lost it for a short period of time. I haven't posted it about it yet because I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. And then I am, this is the top 5 in the country, I guess.
Yeah. So, have you always been like a big thinker like that? I mean, like, so hearing your story, you didn't even know you wanted to be in real estate, right? Let alone business in general. I mean, so like, but were you at least planning on being like A-list celebrity at one point, or?
Like I didn't get into acting because I wanted to do like free theater for the rest of my life and live in like a studio apartment with like 4 rats.
Sure.
There's a lot of people who don't have that drive. I knew I wanted to be. I was like, I want to be a movie star. That's what I want to be, and I'm going to figure out how to do it. LA is really far away, so I'll go to New York first. That's kind of how it started.
Gotcha.
And then when that didn't work out, I didn't want to let go of that dream, and so real estate was just to pay the bills. And then I saw an avenue for like making money, which I'd never done before. It's like, okay, I can pay my own rent. This is awesome. And I can buy food. This is great. I don't have to eat into my grandfather's inheritance savings of 30 grand or whatever it was at the time.
Yeah.
Like I could like do things on my own, like be somebody on my own, like have my own apartment and not have roommates anymore. And then it just slowly grew from there. And then, kind of what I said about the show, creating accountability. Like the same way I wanted to be Brad Pitt, right? I wanted to be the best broker in the world. It's like, if I'm going to do this, why do it to suck at it? Why not be the best? And then how do I be the best? And it's just a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work and like never giving up, right? Because every other broker will one day give up on something. And for a while, even now, a huge part of my business, even though I'm number 1, right? A huge part of my business is taking business from bigger brokers But bigger, I mean they've been in it longer, who've given up on something. And so that's like easy for me to grab because, hey, here I am, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And the developer, the seller's like, okay, you're a good choice, right? And then that's huge business for me. And then I just do it in volume. I'll be that broker. I'm like, like a lot of them do.
Right.
They grab listings, they hold them for 6 months or a year, and then it's like, didn't sell. And then I can come in with energy, use all the emotional turmoil that the sellers have been through for a long time, and then beat the crap out of them and get it sold.
Right.
Hopefully. You know, the market in New York is hard, man. There's so much here. There's so many brokers. 12,000 homes sell a year in New York, every year, without fail, in a good market or a bad market. So the demand is always the same, which is what's weird.
Yeah.
Right? And then, but there's 80,000 brokers. So there's a lot. So there's a lot of competition. You know, and they're everywhere. And there's so many homes. And the market, there's so many things to buy. There's so much inventory on the market that it's just a hardcore buyer's market, which just takes a long, long time to sell through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
In our market, it's the opposite.
I know.
Right? Like,
I'm in Detroit. I talked to you guys, and it's different. Like the questions I got asked when I was like speaking in Detroit last was like, how do you handle escalation clauses in your offers? Escalation clause. So I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
Same thing in California. Same thing in like Missouri. It's Phoenix, Dallas. It's the same thing everywhere.
Yeah.
Only in New York City do bidding wars no longer exist. You know, the New York City pops like for a year every 10 years, and that's what people remember it as. Like $100 million sale, you know, massive deals, like 50,000 offers on one property, like craziness.
Yeah.
That lasts for such a short period of time. The average days on market in Detroit is what?
right now, like 7 days, but that's part of mostly seasonal, but 30 to 45 for the last.
In New York, it's 260.
That's crazy.
Average days on market. Right? So that's the buyer's market all day long. Because then you're dealing with all these wealthy people in New York who just, you know, even if it's $1 million apartment, which isn't a wealthy apartment, right? That's still somebody who thinks their place is worth more than people think it's worth.
Right.
So a lot of my job all day long is talking about prices.
Yeah.
All day long. And getting people to lower their prices and take deals they wouldn't want to take. And it's like, it can be exhausting.
So, how do you deal with stress, like just in general? I mean, because that's stressful for me, at least, when you have to have those conversations on a regular basis.
Yeah. I set the expectations though. So we do, for every seller, we do a Monday report. So it's a traffic report for online, it's a comp report so that I can show them what's new active in the market, what's in contract, what's sold, like do it every Monday.
Yeah.
You know? And that way when I have that conversation, I've got data that's backing it up. That isn't just like, oh hey, here's data, we should lower. Like, listen, the past 3 weeks, as you've seen, X, Y, and Z has happened. So let's talk. You know, and I always make it their choice. And I always give them options. Like, listen, we can stay status quo, and we probably aren't going to sell at this number, it seems like. You know, or we can adjust a little bit, or we can use the market against itself. You know?
Yeah.
But if your average days on market is 7 or 30 to 45, you can't be having that many price reduction conversations. Right? It's probably more conversations for you with buyers who are not making high enough offers to get the properties. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a different conversation.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, but so beyond just the price reductions, but managing the team, the family.
No stress?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I think I'm addicted to adrenaline. I think I'm addicted to stress in a way. Like, I legitimately feel uncomfortable if it's like a Saturday and I have nothing to do. Granted, I don't have kids yet, right? So we're in different spots. But like, it almost makes you feel like empty. Like I need to be doing more. Like something needs to be happening. Like I feel the best when I get in bed at night and I'm like, holy shit, I made it. I never thought this would happen. Like this day, man, insane. Because that's productive. Like for me, the best markets are the volatile ones, which is kind of what we're in right now. Like one day it's up, next day it's down. Next day up.
Yeah.
Because that's how you can make trades. That's how you can get deals done. The market's just this or just that. Someone's an asshole on one side of the deal, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Right? So on your side, it's probably the seller.
In most cases.
In most cases, right? Our side is the buy side, you know, and it's the seller just being ignorant sometimes.
Yeah.
So, and I work out every morning, right? And I have like that. It's part of like my routine, you know. That's I don't want to work out that early. I just have no other choice.
Right.
But then it really jumpstarts my day. You know, and like gives me something to like look forward to. And otherwise, I'm just waking up tired, in the shower, trying to shave, shit I need to eat. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, then it's like you're set in like this routine of life that's just like, what are you waking up for other than mundane shit you do every day?
Right.
I don't want to do that. So like waking up, and I work out with a couple different guys who work out with every day, and they're insane, right? And like it's like a different life every morning.
Yeah.
And if I saw them on the street today, I wouldn't even recognize them. Right? It would be like weird. It would be weird because like I see them in our like ridiculous workout clothes from like 5:30 to 7 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's hard because you have kids, right? 3 kids, and it's a workout in and of itself.
Sure.
Yeah. So it wouldn't change because we have kids.
Yeah. What's the plan for that?
I don't know. I have to wait and find out.
All right. So habits, though, right? Because you're kind of talking about your workout routine.
Yeah.
Obviously, like. To me, that's everything. It goes beyond discipline, right? Or the discipline long enough to form the habit, right? So, what do you think is the key to forming those good habits?
Rewards.
Rewards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to reward yourself. Otherwise, like, look at I don't know, look at people at the gym. You know, like look at someone who's like severely overweight, let's say, but they go to the gym every day. Like they're rewarding themselves by going to the gym, and they don't have like a plan set in place to make them feel better after a certain period of time. So like when I was a little kid, I figured out that I would figure out like a reward for myself after doing things I really didn't like that would make me do the thing I didn't want to do. Right? So like if it's you get yourself like a suit after a deal, right? So like every deal you do, you get to reward yourself with something. You know, maybe it's not a suit, maybe something else, right? And like for me, meals, right, are, you know, I eat incredibly planned out meals, and they're like delivered to me every day. And I have a cheat meal once a week. I really fucking look forward to that thing, and I destroy it, right? And it's like gross.
Yeah.
I look forward to that, and that's like my reward for eating really healthy for 6 days, right? And so for the business, it's the same way. I think you have to, like, because at the end of the day, we're all kind of like mice, you know? And like, we like habit, but we like running in that wheel. But you're not going to do it unless you think that there's something good at the end. So coming up with those rewards, which is why, if you like Google it, there are studies that have been done about people who are far more productive the 2 weeks before they go on vacation. Right?
Right.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but why? It's just like, why? Like the weeks didn't change.
Right.
You didn't change. The work didn't change. You just ended up doing more with the same amount of hours in the day because you knew there was something coming that was awesome and you gotta get your shit done.
Right.
So how do you set yourself up mentally to be prepared to kind of do that all the time?
Right.
You're always going to work a little bit harder before you go on vacation. Maybe you don't. But there's got to be a way to set that up, and I think it's through rewards, at least for me anyway.
Yeah. Right on. Cool. The other thing I have on here is about execution, right? Because like that's
These are good questions. These are like real questions. I met with so many people who come to me with like, they just like chat, and it's like so hard. I'm like, I like these questions. They're real questions. They're balanced out. I appreciate it.
An hour, man. It's not a lot of time. So to try and cram in as much info as I can. I'm actually surprised I wrote them out though. But so execution, right? That's so starting from, and you kind of already answered it from when you started, right? But that's the difference between the people that succeed in this business and don't, right? Or in any business is the execution piece of it. So what do you think like caused you to be? I mean, I've already did it to be a strong executor. But like now, how do you manage that, or what's the plan? It's probably people is the biggest thing. But if you got 300 listings, right?
Yeah.
How are you executing all the marketing for those 300 different listings on a consistent basis? Or
so there's a team member on all those listings, you know, and they are basically the project managers. So it's their job to execute. It's their job. If they don't do it, they can't be here. I have a listing protocol that's written out in Excel in case people are stupid, and they have to go through that, and everything's on there. Right? I touch base with all of them all the time anyway to see where we are and how to change things. Right? But their job is to execute. And nothing drives me crazier than great thinkers who can't execute. Right? Like I talk about that a lot, about analysis paralysis, and it's like a disease that drives me fucking crazy. Because you'll find like the greatest people, they're such hard workers who do this. But when you really look at what they've done, it's like one thing, or maybe two. But they really like to think about what they're going to do. And they like to, it's called setting up office. Right? People who really like setting up their office, make it all perfect, do the interior design, but they have no business. Like, get the business first, set up the office at the same time.
Right.
That's like chaos, like that ball theory I was talking about. Right? And it's important for execution as well. It's like doing the thing. Right? Get the thing done, and you don't overthink it. Right? Because at the end of the day, you'd rather regret the things you did than the things you never tried.
Right.
Right?
So for you, my problem is there's like 12 different things that I want to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'll do like 6 of them, not that great, versus doing 1 or 2 of them, phenomenal, right? So do you have a way of prioritizing things to execute, or, I guess more so earlier on than now, because now you have the people that you can give the project manager?
I never tried to do things not that great. I mean, so if I have 12 things I want to do, I figure out which things I can do personally, put those aside. Right? Figure out which things my admins can do. I give them those jobs because that's their job. I figure out which things I can do with team. I involve them immediately. And now some of the leverage has been kind of pushed off, and I've got everybody working on a lot of different things that way. So that way, like, using people is really, really important. And you make sure you know what their expectations are for both them and for you.
Right.
And you make sure that they are able to execute when you have deadlines. Like it's very, like for me, it's like I have I don't call it a rule book, but like I put together, because it was really pissing me off, like I put together like a list of items of things that you have to do to be here. And like the top of the list is, if you cannot respond to an email within 24 hours, you cannot be here. Like that's it. Like if you can't execute on responding to someone's email, there's 80,000 brokers out here. They'll be free. You're not going to be with me.
Right.
And I'd rather just be friends. Like I don't want to be angry because you're slow. I don't want to be angry because I asked you to do something and you didn't do it. And if you didn't want to do it, you should have told me the minute that I asked you. You should have been upfront and honest. That's kind of that like empathy, energy, endurance conversation.
Yeah,
right? Making sure that they're honest with you with regards to how they can do things and what they want to do. And then I have like probation for people too, where it's like you can stay on the team, but because of this, or this, or just because of this one thing,
right,
I'm not going to give you any business until you prove back to me that you can do this. Because as of right now, I don't think you're capable. For me anyway. It's not personal. I mean, it is, but it's like, you don't have to work here.
Right.
And so that's why, and I really wasn't always that way though. Like, I hate confrontation. It's awkward. It's weird. Like, I just kind of want everyone to be happy and make money,
right,
and then like go on in my life, right? But it got to the point where my sister told me, she's like, you're patient for results, which is great, because that's the way I was when I was like, I'm glad people were patient with me. It took me forever to figure out how to do this business.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're also patient with behavior, both like personal attitude, work ethic, behavior. She's like, why do you do that? I'm like, well, I'm hoping you're gonna learn. Like, no, if you're a team, if people are doing things that you don't like, you tell them. If you don't like being told, then like they were part of that good effort crew when they were kids.
Yeah.
Like they shouldn't be with you. Maybe they should be with somebody else. And like having those ultimatums are really, really hard. And once you get used to it, it becomes so liberating. Like it's like a weight off your shoulders. Because then maybe you only have one team member instead of 3, but that one does the work all 3 of them were doing anyway.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. And you get to reward them because they're so good. And that makes you feel good too. Right? And then you find somebody else who's young, hungry, works underneath that person. Boom, now you have an apprentice program set up for the first 5 deals. They're really excited to be there.
Yeah.
And they've got the empathy, the endurance, the energy, and a little education, but don't worry, you'll figure that part out.
Yeah.
Right? But people salespeople have to execute. They cannot execute, they cannot be salespeople.
So do you have an expectation then on the team that people do a certain amount of fishing themselves, if you will, versus you just giving the fish?
No, but I incentivize them to fish as much as they can. Commission splits here are broken down in 3 ways. Procuring, which is they bring in their own deal. Okay, they make the majority of that. Group preferred, which is me referring them a buyer or a listing, but they kind of do all the work. And then showing, which is mostly for newer people, but that's people that I put on listings or they set up they want me for a buyer, where it's really my client, my relationship, and I do a lot of the work.
Gotcha.
Right? So they are incentivized to do as many procuring deals as they possibly can, which is important. I don't set up like rules or calls, call that, because I gotta leave a little bit open to chance, and they've either gotta really want it, or they're not gonna want it. I can give them guidelines if they ask. They don't have to slam the door. I don't even have a door, right? But I set up income goals with them every year, and the income goals are goals that they choose themselves. And if they've been here more than 2 years, the income goals have to increase. They can't decrease.
Gotcha.
So we set up income goals together, and then we break down based on average splits how much they need to sell to hit those goals. And if they do not hit their income goal by the end of the year, they can't be here. Right? So what ends up happening is that never happens because they either leave early because they realize they're not going to do it, or they work their fucking ass off every day. It's a tough market. They have a string of bad luck. They come to me in June. They come to me in July. They're here before I am. They're here at 7 a.m. and we recalculate their goals in September, right? Because it's not necessarily their fault, and I wouldn't have wanted to be fired myself if I were in that situation.
Sure.
But they proved to me that they can be here.
Yeah.
Right? It's the people that then like stop showing up, and the people that are like, yeah, but she did this and he did that, and that's not fair, and blah 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 blah. I just wait patiently.
Yeah, I kind of love that. Let's steal that one.
It works.
So,
But the income goals, remember, was important. It's not your decision, right?
it's their decision.
Yeah. They have to make their bed, and then they have to sleep in it.
Yeah.
It's their decision. And you do it with you, right? Because you're trying to push them.
Right.
But the best feeling ever, man, like, where I get the most satisfaction is when team members come to me and they call me or come into my office and they hit their goal too soon. And they're like, fuck you, hit it too soon. I'm like, shit. All right, so we gotta recalculate. But they're so proud and they're so excited, and they're so hungry that they know they're gonna kill it next year. They're actually making money and like buying things and spending money and like they're like increasing their lifestyle. And when they started with me, they're like $8. Like lived in a split 4-bed with like 3 girls named Jessica. You know, like that's awesome for me.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, we're running out of time here, and I gotta make sure I do like the selfie thing and stuff, right?
No problem. What are the questions you have? You asked all of those.
I don't know that I asked all of them, but how many deals do you personally do now?
Oh shit. I don't know. I should know that. I tend to look at that stuff like at the end of the year, sometimes half the year. Honestly, I try to do deals so much with the team that I probably do like 10 or 20 personal deals a year, where it's just me and Jordan.
Right.
But everything else is through the team, because like it'd almost be like asking Tom Brady, like, how many touchdowns did you score personally?
Right.
It's kind of how I think about it, honestly.
I love that.
Like, if he runs it in himself, he might be like, I ran in 2 touchdowns last season.
Right. Okay.
But at the end of the day, he has to march it down that field with an entire team. It's a little bit different because we don't profit share, right? They're not like, oh, I'm involved in every play.
Right.
But like, for me, I win and I score touchdowns based on the movement of the entire team and not just me.
Yeah.
And that's why it keeps growing.
Right on. Do you have a coach or a mentor that you feel like is critical?
Never had a mentor. I don't know what I would have done with one. I had like an Israeli guy in the office who told me, actually, I think I said to you in the beginning, he's like, you're either going to be a $3,000 a month broker or you'll be a $5 million broker. Like, just make the decision of who you want to be and go after those clients only. But that's all he told me, which is like really hard to understand. Like, okay, great, I don't want to be a $3,000 a month broker. Hello, I want to be a $5 million broker. Let me go find those people. Where are they? You know, so it's hard.
Yeah.
But that was it. Never had a coach. I thought about coaching a little bit. I like interviewed coaches because I thought maybe I need somebody. But at the end of the day, I just end up getting pissed off with the time that I could spend building and doing more work.
Sure.
Right? And I have a monthly sit down for 1 hour with the admins, and that's kind of like a big coaching session where we look back at the month and say, the fuck just happened? How can we do better? Why did that not work? Why is this really working? Where's this market going? Where should we be focusing money? Where should we be doing this? And everyone's really, really honest with each other to tell you like personal feedback as well.
Okay.
And so I use that.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so then a few gimmicky ones.
Yeah.
I've had several people on Facebook tell me to ask what hair product you use.
I use conditioner. I use my wife's conditioner because my hair's so curly. I just put conditioner back in and leave it in all day. That's what I've done for like 10 years. Otherwise it like froze. And like hairspray and gel, like if the city gets so hot and humid, I think if I'm sweating, it's just like, ugh, gross.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the home in Greece?
We didn't buy it because they couldn't figure out who actually owned it. And so, we should film this part, but it was on the show that the broker came back to us, I can't remember what the name was now, and in Greece, things are a little messy, right? Like here, there's deeds.
Right.
Like in the city, we have something called Acris, like there's the .gov website, like you know who owns what.
Yeah.
Right? In Greece, on a little island, there's like papers in someone's office. A lot of times they can't find shit. Okay? And then what happened was, one of the, like the long lost brothers came forward and said, "Oh no, I own that property and I don't want it sold." That's Greece.
So are you guys pursuing any other properties there, or just put it on pause?
We bought a house in Brooklyn, so we're going to renovate that. We filmed that this year, so we're going to renovate that. It's going to take us a little while. So that's a lot of time, money, and effort right now. And it's like, the problem with getting a house in Greece is that you feel obligated to go there.
Sure.
The problem with getting like a country house or a Hamptons house or anything like that is you feel obligated to go there. For me, I'd much rather have like a sick house here and then just like go get a boat in Greece every year.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I don't know. Wait till we have kids and figure it out.
Yeah.
These kids, apparently, I've heard they change things.
Yeah. Cool. Also, want to know if I can get a hand picture. That was one of my clients that's actually closing today. She said, he used to be a hand model, so I need you to prove that you were there with him since you're not at our closing today.
Sure.
I probably won't have you do that. That's kind of weird.
We can take a photo together, no problem.
And then my wife wants to know if you'll marry her.
Oh no, she should stay married to you.
Yeah, she should.
That's great.
I think that's all I got.
Let's do it. Let's take a photo. So you got a few hours to like enjoy New York before you head back?
Yeah. About 5 or 6.